Yes, you can check that out, guys. Um, Everything they make is really good. That from Gina. Three Squares does not disappoint. Amen. Good stuff. Senator Frank Blas Jr. In the KUM News Link Zoom room. Morning, Senator. How are you?
Good morning, Chris, Jace, Bree. Good morning, Guam.
How's your Christmas season going, Senator?
Oh well, it's going okay. Just like every other guy, probably. They're not done with the Christmas shopping yet. Can't get the Christmas shopping done all yet.
Have you even started, Senator?
Yeah, I started. You know, it's Sunday, I think.
Oh, okay. Well,
You know,
that's not too bad.
oh well, thank God for thank God for gift cards. Not
Hey,
to get, not to take away from anything. Yeah.
so you've been going around a little bit. What do you kind of make of the state of the island? Because it kind of seems like people are spending a lot of money lately.
Well, I mean, it, there is people that are spending money, but there aren't. But then there are many more that are not spending a lot of money because they just don't have it. Uh, Chris, as we speak, one of the things that I've got my staff working on is, where are we at with our state of economy right now? When you do your price comparisons between what the price for a dozen of eggs, cost us in early 2020, January 2020, and what it cost us today. And what is it possibly going to cost us down the road? And where is this economy going to be at about this time next year? I think that right now what we've got is basically, for lack of a better term, a false sense of what our economy is because of all the federal aid, the money that's been coming in. So what happens? What is going to happen to our economy when that money runs out? Okay, one of the things I appreciate with people spending is that there's a circular, the money's being circulated within the economy. But how much of that, is going to come back, and will that be sustainable enough to get us through the year? Because once that's gone, then what? We are far from, what were our economic drivers, pre-pandemic, in 2019 and before, isn't necessarily the case now, and we're far from it. And so, what are we going to do, or what's going to be happening, so that we can make up for that? And it's very bleak. So, we're looking at different, try to, if anything, save more money, get more money, or create new opportunities for money. At the same time, making sure that when the markets do open up, and I'm talking specifically about tourism, that we have businesses, and there are things that first off we can use to compete against other tourist destinations, and we can bring our tourists back. Are we going to get it back to the 1.6, 1.8 million that we anticipate? Probably not. It's probably going to take us a few more years. In the meantime, what are we going to do to be able to sustain the economy that we have?
What do we do, Senator?
Well, right now it's pretty difficult to have this kind of conversation when everybody's joyous because they've got their federal their stimulus money, and there seems to be really no incentive to be able to go back in, and it's difficult. When you're asking people to come back in and it's at reduced hours, and unfortunately for many people, they become used to not having to do this kind of work. So right now I'm racking my brain, and trying to find ways to be able to ensure that when the stimulus money, when the federal money, just what in the last couple of days, the Biden administration, gets a shock when they find that their Build Back Better, or whatever that triple B stands for, may not have a chance for passage. And there goes a lot of the other monies that people were going to see as stimulus that will get us through. And even at that, it's going to cost us a pretty penny. It's starting to cost us a pretty penny, with the prices of everything that has gone up.
Yeah, Senator, you talk about reduced hours, people being called in to work, some people not being called back to work, but it's a whole other story on the government of Guam side.
Yeah,
You
know what?
And I mean, really, Senator, to me, it hurts my stomach looking at how it really looks like they're enriching themselves and cementing themselves and moving people over to classified positions and doing this above step recruitment and hiring over, at PBS or hiring all over the government of Guam. I mean, you're seeing like the hiring, like a lot of hiring going on. That's not at all what's happening in the private sector, at least, from what you're saying. So how's that pill to swallow?
It's. I hope that one day the government of Guam is going to realize that it's not all roses and dandelions. What makes the government run is the economy to run. What makes the economy run is for people to be back at work, or for people to be able to come in so that people can go back to work. And we're not talking about having to take 3 or 4 jobs just to get 80 hours every 2 weeks. And so yes, the government of Guam has been very cushy, and which is why I continue to press on the administration that in the utilization of the American Rescue Plan money, as well as the CARES money, whatever the monies that we have available that is supposed to go back to reviving a community, keeping an economy going, keeping an economy, putting money into government is not keeping an economy going. It's basically replacing what should have been coming from the community to be able to run a government, not the other way around. Okay. Just because government function doesn't necessarily mean the community is going to function. What are we going to service when there's nobody there to be able to service? Okay, how does that put food on the table for that family who's working on reduced hours right now, or no hours at all, and continues to rely on food distribution lines, and whatever aid they can get. That's still the norm for many people today, that somehow people that are in our own government have turned a blind eye to.
Yeah.
And that's what's very frustrating for me, is being able to do this. I've introduced legislation that would, that wanted to spur the economy, to bring back things into the economy, so that, again, when the community gets working, it raises the revenues that the government needs to be able to function. It's not, okay, let the government function so the community can benefit. There's nothing for the community to benefit when it's all going to the government. Okay, and so I understand, and I share in that frustration. Okay, fortunately, I was part of that GMH oversight hearing initially, for the first few minutes, and I was perturbed when, okay, how do we start a hearing when a lot of the information that we were waiting for, that you're asking for, is we didn't have enough time to be able to put it together.
The Xerox machine broke.
And the Xerox machine broke.
Yeah, that was, I thought I heard it all.
I was like, you know what, we're going to be dancing in circles here. I need to work on things to be able to now help to fix the economy. So I left.
Yeah. Senator, I was just thinking about a friend of mine who is not a government employee. He's not getting recruited above step. But what he is doing is he's working like 3 different jobs because he lost his pandemic job. And so this guy's doing a grab and grub. He's doing another food delivery thing just to get by and to stay busy and to put food on the table. So yeah, I think what's happened over the last couple of years is it's clear there's like this I guess it's call it the in crowd, right? The all in or whatever they're calling it for the campaign. But those people are doing really good. I mean, we're talking like you show up to work, there's a good chance you're going to get a $10,000 raise, right? There's a good chance you're going to get above step from a cabinet position over to now our classified employees have to compete with cabinet members for jobs. It's insane. And so it
Yeah.
really seems like that segment of society, like everybody who is in, is like really taken care of. And then you have everyone else.
Well, and that's what I need to continue to fight for is for the everyone else. You know, I'm looking at my screen here and I'm seeing that one of the guys that you're going to be having on, you know, is my primo, you know, Roque Alcantara Jr. I tell you what, you know, Roque went from a dream and an idea to now, you know, I mean, just taking advantage of many opportunities, you know, that are there. And that was, you know, Roque, primo, you know, and you know, I tell you what, I've seen this guy go from you know, just the ideas to you know, on our family chat, make sure Roque you make sure that the blueberry cream cheese, okay? Okay, but it's being able to look at the different opportunities that are available and to work at it and to provide him the support for that, okay? Because you know, as we know, I mean, right now we live in a very digital and you know, world-reach society. Okay, one of these days I'd like to be able to see, you know, Roque's brand, you know, that's being distributed, you know, in the Midwest of the United States or in Incheon, you know, South Korea. It's thing we got to start to look at different things like that. I've got, you know, Vince Bora in my office, and you know, he's working at a lot of things as far as digital marketing and helping, you know, helping us get you know, get on track with a lot of these things. So while there's this frustrating because, you know, our economy as we've known it, okay, does not exist and doesn't seem like it's going to be able to survive, you know, in the very near. What are those things that we can do today that we need to start to do today that will give us that opportunity, not just to be able to now, you know, earn, you know, money so that we can put food on our table, but be now more consistent and more resilient. Okay. You know, by the way, it's past 9 o'clock, so I can talk about the alcohol. You know, he's got a new brand, and as far as soy flavored beer. I mean, so, but you know, it's innovations like that we got to take a look at. You know,
together.
You know, Monica and Cliff Guzman with their GUMA program, you know, Guam Unique Merchandise and Arts. It's giving those individuals with the entrepreneurial spirit the opportunity to be able to move on and to grow in these things. We got to look at it the same, but you know, is that going to be a fit for everybody for that you know, individual who was you know, helped to maintain a hotel, you know, or was in a wait staff, working his way up in you know, not in that restaurant business? Probably not. But so what are we going to be able to do so that we can help him to continue to work in that, so that when tourists do come, you know, and other people do come, that business is thriving, that business is still going on. You know, tomorrow I'm going to you know, meet with an individual who's already, you know, I mean, unfortunately, because of what's been going on over the last couple of years, he's got no choice but to close down a business that he's had, you know, in operation for decades. And to talk to him about, okay, you know, what made him survive? What is he going to do to continue on? And what kind of words of wisdom can he pass on for the rest of us? So that you know, we can pick up and we can pick up on our in what we need to do to continue our economy. Our economy is, if there's going to be one mainstay on this thing, is the need for an economy to thrive. That's the only way we're going to be able to survive. Okay. You know, there was a discussion I was having with my staff yesterday, and as far as okay, it's great to have a medical campus, but then it's going to be a medical campus that is probably going to have to deal with a lot of medically indigent individuals because they're not going to have the ability to have the insurance nor the ability to be able to pay out of their pocket. Okay? Then how are we going to sustain that? So is that going to be necessary right now? So there's many things that right now, you know, yesterday when we were, Chris, when you and I were texting each other, and you said, I want to talk what's on your radar. I said, boy, that's a huge radar right now.
Yeah, I didn't know what I was getting into. You got a good point there about the new $1 billion healthcare complex. It kind of seems like what's going on with Guam Memorial Hospital, where it looks like we're more concerned about the image than the reality. And you're right. I mean, $1 billion healthcare complex that our people sadly won't be able to afford going to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like putting a castle amongst, in a barren village. How is that going to help the community? We'd love to be able to do this, and don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I mean, yes, we'd love to be able to have state-of-the-art, medical facilities. So many of the things that we have to that were necessary for us to go off island for, can be had right here. I mean, the greatest way to heal is to have family around you. I understand all of that, but at the same time, the reality is, that right now the community, has got a gaping wound in their economy. Okay, it's bleeding profusely. Okay, to the point where, without what the federal stimulus has provided was the life support, the ventilators that were necessary. Eventually, that ventilator is going to have to come off, and somebody's going to have to pay the bill. Are we going to have that ability as an economy to do so? Our family's going to have that ability to be able to use that facility, and be comforted in knowing that they have the financial means to be able to pay for the services that they need. And it's not a matter of trying to figure out as to whether or not should I get that surgery, or is it going to set my family back? Unfortunately, right now there are many individuals that have elected not to continue with medical procedures because they just got to hang on to the money because of what the family needs. So they're going to continue to suffer, and that shouldn't be the case. And unfortunately, if we continue to go down this road, it's going to get worse. Again, what is our economy going to look like at about this time next year? Is it going to be a Merry Christmas next year?
Well, thanks for the reality check, Senator. Yeah, and I mean, we are running the risk of, if we look at what we're doing with this money and investing it all in the government. I mean, you're right. In a couple of years, when we got to foot the bill for all this hiring that's happening now with the federal money, where are we going to be at? So it's good.
Yeah, because when you're hiring all these individuals now above step and with new positions because new programs of this thing, 5 years down the road, when all of that federal funding that caused you to be able to hire all these people, when that runs out, what happens to these individuals? You're going to tell, okay, goodbye, because we're going to have to. And the programs that they had are no longer going to exist. Government of Guam has a habit of being able of now fighting, programs that says, oh, don't worry, it's 100% federally funded for the first few years, but then you're gradually going to have to take over. We got a number of government positions that were created as a result of federal programs that were, that we brought on. And now we have that obligation, the people of Guam have that obligation to continue not just that program, but the employment of those individuals, when we couldn't afford it to begin with. And those are the things that we need to, pull back on the reins. I appreciate, that you guys have brought up, and as far as the concern, and as far as some of the hiring practices, as well as procurement practices in some of these areas. Now, is the administration going to heed this? Or is it going to be that because, I can do so because we're an emergency declaration and I don't have to follow any of the rules while we're in an emergency declaration? But eventually when this thing comes, when this declaration is expired or no longer exists, then what happens? Okay, and that's what I'm looking at right now.
Thank you, Senator, for your time this morning. I know you got some Christmas shopping to catch up on. So we'll
I got work to do, buddy. Okay.
You're right
Christmas
on.
shopping. Okay. Yeah, Christmas shopping is probably, like I said, these small little envelopes called gift cards.
Nothing wrong with that. Hey, it's the
Okay,
thought that
buddy.
counts, and you thought of it. Okay, Senator. Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas and Merry Christmas, Guam.
There you go, Senator Frank Blas Jr. Hey, we're gonna take a quick